All right, so my name is Goldizen, and I'm an academic here in the School of Biological Sciences. And together with another colleague of mine, Diana Fisher, we're going to be teaching applied fauna conservation. And so this course is going to include a field trip out to Idalia National Park, which is going to be one of the centerpiece of the course, really. And we'll be focusing a lot on that small endangered wallaby on the left, the bridle nail-tail wallaby, and some of the other macropods, or kangaroos and wallabies, that occur out in this park. The main aims of this course are to teach you survey methods to do with fauna. And so it's very much of an applied course, a practical course. The sorts of issues we'll be covering will be how to survey species in an area, how to identify species, how to estimate the abundances of different kinds of fauna, and how to analyze the data that you get from those surveys. So we'll be teaching you the programs Distance and MARC, which are two of the main programs used for estimating the abundance of fauna. We'll be talking about different sorts of survey designs, their limitations, what can be concluded from these surveys, doing some work with radio tracking, and we'll be talking about how all these sorts of methods can be used in environmental impact assessment, which relates into the course on industry perspectives that Barent will be running. As I said before, there'll be a couple of weeks of teaching in here, and then we'll go out to Idalia National Park, which is about 15 hours west of here. Our school has a long history of teaching field courses there, and we'll be there for 4 or 5 days. And these are some of the things we'll do. So we'll do spotlighting vehicle surveys at night to estimate the abundance of 4 different macropod species. We'll do some trapping of these highly endangered bridle nail-tail wallabies. Some pitfall trapping to look at which small mammals and reptiles are there, sand plot surveys to look at predator densities, and we'll visit the yellow-footed rock wallaby colonies. That's another highly threatened species that's out there. Do some vegetation surveys. It'll be camping, hopefully good weather. The main case study in this course is, or at least for the field component, is this bridle nail-tail wallaby. It's a species that was declared extinct in the 1930s, rediscovered in the 1970s on a property called Taunton, which is now Taunton National Park. There are only about 100 left at Taunton. That's the only animals left in their wild original range for this species. In the late 90s, we, together with the Queensland government, our school translocated these wallabies out to Idalia National Park, and they've done pretty well. I mean, they're not great, but there's more there than there are at Taunton. So you'll be doing a lot of work with this species there. We'll be talking a lot about its conservation. And at the end of this trip, this field trip will go back to back with the field trip for the invasive biology course that Barent and Yvonne Buckley will be teaching, which will be done at Taunton National Park. So again, there'll be a focus on this bridle nail-tail wallaby and how invasive species are a problem for it, including the introduced predators and this bufflegrass, which Barent mentioned, which is now the big issue at Taunton National Park because it's completely outcompeted the food for the nail-tails. And in the middle between those two trips, as we take you from Idalia to Taunton, we'll stop overnight at a place called Avocet Nature Refuge, which is a private property where the owner has turned part of his property into a nature refuge, and the state of Queensland gave him some bridle nail-tail wallabies. So it's another translocation site. And he's really interesting to talk to get a perspective on private conservation, private land conservation. So I guess in a nutshell, you'll be collecting data on this course that we'll collect it every year as this program runs, so that we'll end up with really long-term data. We've got some data already from previous years, different experiences, so we'll be working with a long-term data set even in the first year of this course. This course links in with the course on statistics, because the things you'll be learning in that course you will then apply to the data that you collect on this field trip. It links in with the conservation decision making, which is going to be taught at the end of the program, because conservation decision makers have to have these sorts of long-term data sets to work with. It links into the conservation philosophy course and many of the others. So there's a lot of links there. So I guess one of the things I forgot to mention is that Diane and I have been involved in research on the bridle nail-tail wallaby for the last 20 years at Taunton, at Idalia, and at Avocet. So we've both personally worked on and supervised students working on this species and a lot of other endangered mammals. We're both sort of specialists on conservation biology and behavior of mammals.